gentlemen, welcome to a brand new, lovingly fantastic episode of Bloodlines here at NAMM 2020, Day 2. And I'm standing right next to, you know, this guy from Sepultura. I think you know, and if you don't know, you should know, Mr. Andreas KISSER.
Hello.
How are you doing, man?
Good, doing great.
Yeah, you had a kick-ass show last night in Metal Allegiance.
Oh, it was so much fun, man. It was amazing. It was always a pleasure to play with them, and every time, you know, somebody new comes up and jamming you know, our idols and our own stuff as well, you know, which is great.
Yeah, I've already seen the YouTube videos from last night. It's madness, but I'm not surprised. Great. You know, it's a home show for for everyone here. But we're gonna get right into the nitty-gritty now. In a recent interview on Nuclear Blast, you stated the last record had only 5 months or less time to be written. What gear did you heavily rely on to write Quadra that you knew would bring forth the best form for your technique in that short amount of time?
Well, actually, Machine Messiah was done in 5 to 6 months. You know, our previous album. That's why on Quadra I wanted to have more time, really, to work. You know, to listen and to try out and experiment. You know, do different editing and etc. So I started like 14 to 15 months ago. So we had more than a year, really, from the start. Yeah, with the concept. You know, the concept was very helpful to really divide the album in different parts. You know, we divide the album in 4 parts with different type of characteristics and elements that Sepultura used throughout our career, and we use them plus our new stuff and the attitude of today. You know, so yeah, I mean, Machine Messiah was great. We had a great response, but it was done quickly. You know, I wish we had a little more time really to develop even a little further and everything. But I mean, technically, Jens Bogren, the producer, is the guy in the studio who goes after the best microphones. And you know, in the studio, I'm very open to use any type of amplification.
Of course. Not
only the sponsors that I have and stuff, but anything's possible. Same with guitars and pickups and strings and etc. You know, so Jens Bogren is a very intelligent, smart guy, and you know, we just had a great time looking for sounds. You know, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Of course, and we're definitely going to hear it on Quadra. And,
definitely, yeah.
Definitely. Now, in your opinion, what makes EMG the most reliable addition to your guitar for live and studio?
Yeah, EMG I've been using since forever, it seems like, you know, especially when the Sepultura starting to have the possibility to buy good equipment. You know, in Brazil it was very hard to get good stuff. But once we start traveling outside Brazil and recording and touring, you know, we were able to get the right equipment. And my first Charvel that I bought, you know, already had a EMG on it, the EMG 81. And it's a part of my sound. I mean, that guitar is always in the studio with me. I don't use it live anymore that much. Because it's a rare guitar for me. It's my first guitar and stuff, but she's still great, you know. So I took Charvel is since Beneath the Remains is on every Sepultura album, you know, regardless of the guitars I use. You know, I always use the Charvel for some solo, or from extra part, of some rhythm tracks, whatever, you know, I needed. But EMG is there, you know. It's a part of.
It's a part of who you are.
Yeah, of the sounds of Sepultura, you know, for many years.
Wow. Okay, so going from EMG now, what would you say is the best feature of your Dunlop AK95 signature Crybaby wah pedal?
Dude, the Crybaby is one of my favorite pedals. You know, not only in metal, you see Kirk Hammett, of course, you know, and many, you know, Dimebag and many other guitar players, but you know, from the blues as well. You know, like Eric Clapton and Buddy Guy, and so many different great musicians that use that weapon, you know, let's say. And I had the privilege to have my signature Crybaby in Brazil, released a few years ago. It is a pedal that it doesn't have the click, you know, to turn it on. It's just like the motion of the
so it's
stepping
a nice
up.
Fluid motion, step up, step down.
Yeah, I chose that one because especially just to play sitting down, you know, when you're in studio and stuff, you know, it's like you have to put your whole body.
Pressure. Yeah, you have to put full body pressure on it.
So when you have a pedal like that, you just have you feel more comfortable, you know, playing and stuff. And I love it, you know. I try different brands of wah pedals, and I know there's a lot of going on out there, but I never really got as much, you know, comfortable situation with Dunlop. For me is the best, you know. Just it feels so natural for me.
So how many songs in Quadra truly, you know, stand out for using the Crybaby and the Dunlop?
Wow, good question.
The stumper.
Yeah. You know, in the studio, of course, there's a lot of other pedals that are in the same area as the wah pedal, let's say, you know, like flangers and envelope filter, you know, that kind of stuff that, you know, goes in, you know, of that wave type of different sounds and stuff. So I use the wah on the studio more for leads, you know. So there are a few leads there that are specific for the wah pedal, and they're usually very aggressive, you know.
Nice.
Using more of the whammy bar together and stuff, really to enhance that effect, you know.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have something to listen to now when Quadra comes out.
Right on.
For aspiring musicians who may be watching this right now, what would be the best investment in gear in the first stages of building a rig?
I don't know if is there like a rule or something, you know. Maybe a tuner, it's a good start.
Good night, everybody.
But I mean, it depends, of course, of the style of music you're doing it. You know, of course, the guitar. You know, you have to have a certain right guitar for a certain style of music. Of course, you know.
Yeah, of course.
You don't want to play, you know, Fight Fire with Fire with a semi-acoustic jazz guitar or something. You know. I mean, you can do it, and it might sound great, but that's not the point. You know,
right,
the point is really to do the distortion. So go after the instrument that really can represent that style of music you want to do, you know.
And what would you recommend? Any type of equipment or any type of amps or heads? What would you recommend as the very first start? I mean,
I use Orange heads and amps, and I think they are a great start.
That's the best of the best.
Because for me it is. I mean, I've been using Orange for the last 10 or 15 years or so.
Of course.
I'm very happy with the result. Not only live in the studio as well. And you know, they're very simple, you know, volume, 3 knobs for the frequencies and reverb, and that's it, you know. For a start, it's great. Instead of having those heads like with so many different possibilities and buttons and, you know, extra boosts and whatever, you know. I mean, for a start, go with the simple, or a Marshall head as well, you know, like a 900s or 800s there, it's very straightforward. You know? And then you can know your sound. And after having that reference, you can go, you know, to different places.
Of course. So, now for my last question, with the recent signing to BMG in Latin America, what does this mean for Sepultura, and do you feel this opens doors for other successful musicians in Brazil?
I hope so. Yeah, Sepultura is definitely one of the pioneers, you know, in the heavy music in Brazil. One of the first bands that came out and tour everywhere and stuff, and having BMG not only in Brazil but around Latin America, including Mexico, you know.
Yes.
It's fantastic, you know. It's been a long time we don't have such a strong label in that region of the world, you know. You always, of course, have Brazil because our country, so we always represent Brazil very strongly. But, you know, sometimes we have a deal in Argentina, a different deal in Peru, and different deal, you know. It was kind of very confusing. But now, finally, we can unify everything and have one source of, you know, information and interviews or whatever.
It's the bridge now. It's
great, you know, and I think it came out in a perfect time, you know, because we have a really strong album. We're very excited about Quadra, and really cannot wait, you know. February 7th, it's out.
That's it. And I'm going to have to wait till February 7th, as disappointed as I am to know this, even though I knew this last month.
Calm down, I know. Soon.
But I'm not disappointed because I got to talk to Andreas KISSER. Thank you so much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure.
It's a pleasure here.
Please, February 7th, catch Quadra out everywhere via Nuclear Blast. And for a little incentive, a little world tour is happening on March 20th.
Yes, we're going to do a North American tour with Sacred Reich, Crowbar, and Art of Shock. North America, be ready.
Damn Skippy, and I'm Derek Soto, and I'm about to be ready to go invade the rest of this convention center. See ya.
Awesome, dude.
That was a fantastic interview. Thank you.